Now that's what I call a Star War. Dune is the latest movie from Denis Villeneuve, his latest opportunity to go into the sci-fi world. In fact, he's kind of developing this thing where he takes an old burdened sci-fi property like Blade Runner 2049 and brings it into a new era, and he's doing it here with Dune again. You've got a huge cast hanging out in this one. Timothée Chalamet centering that cast, but many, many others coming along to play, and kind of takes a look at this source material in a new light. Now, I, just for the record, have never read the books, haven't even seen the David Lynch 1984 version of Dune because I've heard it's very, very confusing. But let's get into this one because this one was not confusing to me. I followed it all the way along, and guys, this was a lot of fun. I think Denis Villeneuve may know what he's doing as a director. There is such a confidence here. I kind of jokingly mentioned at the beginning that so much of Star Wars is kind of based in this Dune mythology. I'd never really realized that till now, but George Lucas basically took Dune and added Kurosawa and was like, hey, print me money. That's basically what he did. But this is just such a vast, big, compelling world. The world building that Villeneuve is doing here is so expert. There is so much exposition here, and if there are negatives, they may have to do with times where you feel how much exposition he has to get through, but I think he does it expertly here because I never felt overly exposited to. I never felt like there was too much talky, explaining. I thought it was explained visually. Their entire doodads in world building that is just explained because you're living in this world with these people. Add to that a really interesting story that's going on here about someone who is feeling torn between the expectations of his father, his mother, and then trying to figure out what his own expectations are for himself. A very common, understandable story. It's very much the hero's journey that we've seen a lot before. But I was drawn into it. I really bought into a lot of this movie. You add to that the fact that Denis Villeneuve is creating some of the most visually stunning and compelling stuff that we've ever seen. The visuals in this are absolutely mind-blowing. Hans Zimmer is providing an incredible score here. The audio in this is absolutely mind-blowing. The scale of what's going on here, I don't remember feeling like this since The Lord of the Rings came out. That was the last time I can remember feeling like, oh, somebody who really cares about this source material is bringing this world to me and presenting it on a plate. Like Peter Jackson did with the Lord of the Rings. I feel like Denis Villeneuve just is, with such care, is presenting this world to me, and I'm just eating it up, lapping it up. That brings us to the big negative that has to be said and will impact almost everyone who watches this movie. It's not a movie. It's not a full movie. I'm not the first to say it. I won't be the last. This is not a full movie, and it does not have a beginning, middle, and end. It is a beginning and maybe part of a middle. But there is just I understand there is a moment that this movie wants to draw as the resolution to the story arc that it's doing in this single film, and it just does not work. It doesn't hit hard enough. It doesn't go to a place where I feel like I'm dealing with resolution in any way. So to give me half a movie without warning me is a big negative. Now, if this movie had been marketed differently, and I don't know why it wasn't, why wasn't part one on all of the posters? Why wasn't part one proclaimed from the loudest speakers in the sky? Like, if you present this to me as Peter Jackson did, as part one of a such and such part, experience, I'm having a totally different reaction to the end of this movie. But as it is, I'm frustrated because I thought I was getting a movie and I didn't. I got half of a movie. That is a big deal. Now, it says something about how strong this movie is, that experience was still worthwhile for me, still compelling for me, as frustrated as I was about that. I was mad that it was only part one. I'm also thrilled that it's only part one because I want to see more. So bring me more. Dune, for me, was very, very good on the liked it, loved it, disliked it, hated it, or it was just okay scale for half movies. I loved it.